Hello and welcome to our fifth week here in our 8-week series, learning the fundamentals, the basics, the intro to Sahaja, a real incredible foundation upon which you can build this amazing transformative practice within you. So we're going through at week 5, we're getting deeper into learning about this system within us, spending a great deal of time in the meditation itself. So this is more than book knowledge, more than learning about a hypothetical technique that can improve us, but rather implementing that technique while understanding the fundamental behind it, ensuring that we're spending at least as much time implementing as we are learning about it, and spending that time thinking about it, analyzing it, understanding it on the mental level separately from when we're doing the practice itself, so that when we're meditating, we're truly attempting, desiring, determined to get into that meditative state, thoughtlessly aware, without having any kind of mental activity whatsoever. So this week we are going to cover 2 more energy centers, the 4th and 5th energy center, the Anahat and Vishuddhi Chakras. Before doing so, just a quick overview of where we've come so far. We're focusing on the process, talking a little bit about what's happening when we're meditating, and then getting into our practice of meditation, trying to keep those 2 separate so that, again, we're not mental at all when we're in the practice of meditation. We're just learning the fundamentals and keeping that kind of behind the scenes, not really thinking about it while we get into that meditation itself. So we've talked in these previous 4 weeks about the left energy center, the left energy channel rather, the 3 channels within us. So the left is the moon channel, the right is the sun channel, and the central channel within us, within which our inner energy, which is in a dormant state, our kundalini or coiled feminine energy, in a dormant state in that sacrum bone, the bone at the end of our spine, which is known in medical science as sacrum or sacred. That inner energy becomes awakens from her dormant state, and starts to work within us, within our 7 energy centers or chakras and our 3 energy channels. So what have we done so far in these few weeks? We've talked about the aspects, the imbalances that manifest from impure or imbalanced energy centers or energy channels. So we've covered the 1st energy center, the 2nd energy center or the Svadhisthana chakra. We've moved on to the 3rd chakra last week, and this week we're going to be talking about the 4th energy center, or the Anahat, and the 5th. And next week we'll be going into the 6th and 7th. So just a quick overview, looking at those imbalances that are definitely running rampant within us and how they correspond to all of the different energy centers within us. When we talk about the 4th energy center, our insecurity. When we talk about the 5th, our feelings of guilt, and we'll get into more details of those areas. And how, when these energy centers, when these chakras get into their optimal balance state, that we are seeing this transformation within. It's not a psychological exercise where we're repeating and manifesting something through simple mental desire. It's where a living process is taking place within us, in which this inner energy, while working within us, is naturally, organically establishing these ultimate optimal qualities within our 7 energy centers, and thereby establishing that which was already inherently existing within us, which may have been slightly less prevalent until we really establish our meditation and get that balance reinstated within us. So we'll start to see in the 4th energy center our confidence improve, our compassion, and the 5th energy center, all ways in which we communicate, diplomacy and collectivity. So let's get a little bit more in detail into these 2 energy centers. But at the heart level, we often refer to this 4th energy center as the heart chakra or Anahat. We're talking about the cardiac plexus right at the center of the chest. On a physical level, of course, we know what this area is responsible within us. The center of the chest, the sternum or the breastbone, it's governing our heart, all of our cardiological responsibilities within us, our lungs, respiratory, pulmonary, all production of T cells. Our thymus gland lies right behind our sternum bone, right behind our breastbone, at the center or the upper center of the chest. And this is our immunity. So if we look at the heart, we're talking about circulation, we're talking about our respiration, and we're talking about immunity. Again, when we look at the physiological aspects of each one of these chakras, we can easily tie parallels to what's going on the non-physiological level within the chakra. So circulation, respiration, and immunity. Right at the center of the chest, when our inner energy reaches this point, which often will happen in our very first meditation, our kundalini rises right up the center. If we're feeling anything up and over the top of the head, that is a tribute to that this energy has risen up, we've experienced what's known as self-realization, in which the inner energy culminates at the crown of the head. Once that's happening, our Kundalini is working within us. So at the heart level, once she's working, we can feel the reflection of that work in our developing vibratory awareness. On our hands, we will feel the reflection of what's happening in the heart chakra on our pinky fingers. That's the fourth energy center, right, in our pinkies. So what are our imbalances, to go into a little bit more depth about the heart chakra? So our heart, even if we put our hand there, it can often show in our body language one or the other. So on the imbalanced side, our insecurity, our self-doubt, our fear. We're putting our hand there. We may right away be expressing that we're insecure. We might be feeling compassion. So we'll get to that when we get to the strengths within this chakra. When this chakra is imbalanced on the right or the left, there are different manifestations that will start to appear. So on the right, when it becomes imbalanced, we'll see more aggressive tendencies. That right channel, that sun channel within us, whenever it's overactive, those imbalances are going to be outwardly expressing imbalances. So aggression, reaction. At the level of the heart, we talk about relationships and responsibility, and our relationship as parents, if we are parents or teachers, and as students or children. So what are those relationships like with our parents or with our children, with our spouses, with those people in our lives? Are they balanced? Are they strong? Are they secure? Are they more on the right, more dominating? Or are they more on the left, in which we are dominated? So establishing that center balance within our relationships is that perfect balance between not aggressing others and not allowing ourselves to be exceedingly aggressed. Because we're talking about immunity, if we have a weak immune system, that has to do with this fourth energy center. Anything in terms of our respiration, we have asthma, we have lung, breast, or heart issues, all of those can be connected back to the heart chakra. So we're not talking so much in Sahaja about correcting those things, those manifestations, those medical problems that have already manifested in our lives. What we're focusing on is strengthening and establishing our subtle energy system within us. When that happens, it will initially be a preventative for those imbalances, preventing them to manifest, but it can be corrected. Our goal in Sahaja is to establish our subtle energy center. So we're just connecting where those physical aspects are within us. The intention is on the subtle side, but we can see the benefits often on the physical side. So qualities, the positive aspect of our fourth energy center, this is this energy center of our love, feeling that source of love within ourselves. So we have this incredible wellspring of love within us. It's our security, our self-confidence, it's our recognition of self, it's that satisfaction that allows us to feel that our cup is completely full, and so thereby we feel secure. So feeling loved or being able to love is the quality of this fourth energy center. So all of our security lies right here. Those of us that have been around the block enough know that security, if it's depending on the world around us, it's transient. It will never be lasting if it's depending on someone or something. Anything in our environment is transient. What is lasting, what is infinite, is connecting to that wellspring of love within ourselves that makes us feel secure in a lasting, permanent, always accessible way. So security, confidence, this has to do with our courage. So if we're insecure, we're lacking confidence, we're often afraid, doubting ourselves, expressing, feeling those fears from within ourselves. Once that security is established, we also start to see that courage, that fearlessness manifest. Because then we are connected with love. We talked last week talking about the third energy center, the Nabi chakra at the stomach. When that satisfaction is established, it then overflows into generosity. So once we're satisfied, we can then have that natural overflowing of satisfaction, which is generosity. At the heart level, once we have that love established within us, once our cup is full, that love overflows into compassion. So a natural expression of compassion, which is in no way artificial. It's because of that security, because of that connection with the love that exists within each one of us, that we feel love, understanding, compassion for others. So empathy, feeling consideration for others. It's nothing that can be manipulated or forced. If we don't feel empathy, if we don't feel considerate, we can't force it. But what happens when our Kundalini works and establishes this fourth energy center, whatever is getting in the way of our ability to be compassionate, to be empathetic, to have consideration for others, establishing our security, establishing that quality of love, it just spontaneously, naturally happens. So a healthy self-esteem. Our emotions often get imbalanced. Here at the heart level, those emotions that are often out of our control get into this how can we say it? Get into these limits, so that our emotions are not out of our control, but they're actually within our purview. We're enabling ourselves to be in control of our emotions, directing when they are triggered, and also reeling them back in before they carry us too far away from that center, from that balance. I wanted to point our attention to Sahaja Online's website, because as we talk in this 8-week series, we're truly just touching upon the qualities of each one of our inner energy centers and channels. But Sahaja Online's website has an incredibly detailed overview of each one of our energy centers. And it's a wonderful place to visit to look into more detail on any of these energy centers, more learning about the qualities, the imbalances, how to create balance within them. There's an incredible amount of learning. And honestly, I would say, even though the Sahaja Online site has a more detailed description, it's also just scratching the surface. Truly getting into the experience of clearing our energy center gets us into an encyclopedia of knowledge, which is truly limitless. So if you visit Sahaja Online, you can click on the energy system tab and visit and learn more about any one of our chakras. So that's a bit about our fourth energy center at the heart. We'll move on to our fifth energy center at the throat, known as the Vishuddhi Chakra. This simplistically is recognized as the chakra which governs our connection with others, or our communication. It's located at the cervical plexus, right at the center of the throat. And of course, because it's located right there in the throat area, it's governing everything on the physiological level that is in this region: our sight, our sound, our ability to hear, our recognition of sound, how we smell, how we taste, all of those faculties in our throat, mouth, and face area. So neck, throat, arms, face, all of that expression. Our Vishuddhi, our fifth energy center, has a great deal to do with our expression because it has to do with how we're connecting with others. So how do we express? We express through our communication, through our arms, through our hands, our mouth, our teeth, even our eye movements are all part of the areas that are governed or that are connected to this fifth energy center. So talking about the throat, what happens when our Kundalini starts working within our fifth energy center? We start to feel it on our pointer fingers. So when we're feeling a balanced energy center, whatever energy center that happens to be, we're going to feel the balance reflected as cool, light, and even vibrations, or very subtle energy. When this energy center is imbalanced, when there's heaviness, impurities that need to get cleared out, and that's happening as we're meditating, as our Kundalini is working within us and clearing each one of our energy centers and energy channels. As that heat or those impurities are released, we'll feel that as more heavy and warmer sensations on our hands and also on the top of the head. So in general, we're looking at the pointer fingers when we're talking about our fifth energy center. There's a great deal of imbalances. We're talking about how we connect with others, how we communicate. So is it more on the right side or is it more on the left? So if it's on the right, we're going to have a lack of diplomacy. We may find that there are tendencies to be rude or reactive, easily triggered. How our communication is expressing outwardly, dominating others? Or does that communication come back upon ourselves, how we connect with others, and allow ourselves to be dominated in the form of guilt or overly self-sacrificing, doubting ourselves, believing that we're not deserving? All of those are an imbalance that has to do with a left side imbalance of this fifth energy center. Lacking self-respect is also going to do with that left side imbalance of doubting ourselves, not respecting ourselves, overly apologetic. Those are all qualities that have to do with an imbalanced fifth energy center. The quality of detachment as well. If we're overly attached to whether it be the fruits of our labor, what we want to happen, whether it be to people that we have strong connections to in our lives, feeling an unbreakable attachment that is imbalanced, that is dominating ourselves, that is completely consuming ourselves. This is an imbalance of the fifth energy center, and we'll talk about how that can be more balanced. On the physiological level, anything to do with our sinus or our bronchioles, anything in this area has to do with an imbalance in this fifth energy center. So what happens when we get strong, when we get balanced, when we get these qualities, these imbalances to reduce? We start to see all of the positive attributes in terms of how we connect with others. We feel joyful connecting with others, so we're more collective. Rather than being solitary or hermit-like, we enjoy being connected to others, connected to our community, collective with the larger environment around us that gives us joy, and it's joy giving to others. How we communicate is not on the right, not aggressing others, not on the left, allowing ourselves to be overcome or succumb to guilt, but that communication is loving, it's diplomatic, it's respectful, it's sweet, it gives joy, it has perspective. So the quality of being detached, which doesn't mean emotionless, it doesn't mean dry, but it means able to be part of our life as a witness. So not so consumingly attached that everything will get us upset. but able to enjoy our lives, enjoy the people in our lives, feel love and express love, allow ourselves to be loved, and have all those incredible relationships in our lives, but do so while witnessing. So that's the quality of detachment or having perspective. It's a bit of a step back from where we often live, again, consumed with the life around us. So just taking that half a step back and witnessing our lives. This also helps us in our reactions. So we're often reactive. If we're on the right side, we have a tendency to go to the right. Everything will set us off. We have expectations. So once we're balanced, once this fifth energy center is strong and stable, those same triggers may come. They will come. They will definitely come. But we will find that they don't trigger us, that we are not observing ourselves reacting to what often made us so incredibly upset. So guilt-free. It's a wonderful place to dream, to aspire towards, and it's so incredibly easily attainable through this balancing which takes place in our meditation. So that's a bit about our fourth and fifth energy centers, truly all about the love within us, how we connect with others, how we communicate, that incredible brotherly, sisterly, family expression of love that we all have within us. How does it happen? How does it not happen? How does it get imbalanced? Where are our insecurities? We can talk about this, we can think about it, we can analyze it until we're blue in the face. But in Sahaja, what we want to do is just recognize where these qualities are connected within our energy centers and focus the majority of our attention on getting there, getting to that place of thoughtless awareness so that we don't have to do anything, so that we don't have to correct ourselves, so that we don't have to make an effort to change our lives, but merely, simplistically, what we do, which works, is enabling ourselves to allow time for our inner energy to work, and as a byproduct, all of this incredible transformation takes place. So as we get into our meditation today, we may take advantage of these gestures and affirmations that you're familiar with. At the fifth energy center, at the throat, we do this, take our right hand and bring it to the left side of the neck. I am not guilty, truly letting go of all of that guilt, which is pointless to be carrying around, to be dragging along as excess baggage that we just don't need. And so we'll do that one today. We'll also do this balancing technique of the left and the right energy center. What we want to start doing at this point in our learning and our practice is paying more attention to initially, number one, getting there. What are the obstacles that don't allow us to get into the state of thoughtless awareness? So let's get there. And then once we're there, start to add on these layers which enable us to have a more powerful meditation. So balancing the left side by dropping our right hand towards the floor, balancing our right channel by bending our left arm at the elbow, and then paying attention to what we're feeling without allowing that to put us into a mental evaluative place. We're not going to be evaluating it at all, just experiencing it, just experiencing those sensations, observing them as if we are checking the temperature in the oven or opening the window to see what the weather is outside. We don't think about it, we don't analyze it, we're just simply observing with our hands, very simply paying attention to what we're feeling and not allowing it to put us into a mental state. So let's get ready for our meditation. Our home position, again, is palms open on our laps, fingertips apart. This is a great time to take off your shoes and your glasses. If you're able to do so, that will enable you to get into a more relaxed state. And if there are any noises or distractions, notifications that might get in your way, this is a wonderful time to turn them off. We'll start by sitting with our palms open on our laps, eyes closed. turning our focus within ourselves. We'll begin our meditation with our exercise that we have been adding into our meditations. So in order to put us into that state of meditation, we'll raise our kundalini. Our left hand rises up from the base of the spine. Right hand rotates around the left until we get up and over the top of the head. Once both of our hands are up there, we're going to tie one invisible knot few inches over the top of the head. We'll do this 3 times. Left hand rises up. Right hand rotates around the left. As we get up and over the second time, 2 invisible knots. Using this exercise to guide our attention, an expression of our desire that our inner energy rise up and culminate up and over the crown of the head. The third time, we're tying 3 knots, integrating our left, our right, and our central energy channels. And now our 7 shields of protection. Our right hand starts on the left side of the body. We're going over and back 7 times for each of our 7 energy centers. This should bring us closer to the state of thoughtless awareness. Sitting now in our home position, palms open on our laps, eyes closed. Paying attention to what we are feeling on the palms of the hands, observing the level of activity within our minds. How busy is our mind? What are we thinking about? Why are we even thinking? There is nothing at all that we need to think about for these few moments of meditation. No thought matters. Right now, no thought is important. We'll pause all of that activity, all of that planning, all of that processing for after our meditation. And turn our focus to an untouched region, this present state where there is no activity at all. In this moment, there is nothing to think about, nothing to analyze, nothing to process. It just won't make the experience better. By relaxing all of that work of thinking, getting out of the driver's seat of doing, we are empowering our inner energy to do this incredible, transformative living work within us. Looking for the present moment, looking for the silent gap between our thoughts, and seeing if we can bring our focus up and over the top of the head. Let's take our right hand and place it on the heart. Right hand on the left side of the chest. Left side of the fourth energy center, keeping our left palm open on the lap, focusing within at the level of the heart, putting our attention on ourselves. And the self that we're putting our attention on is not our physical self, not our mental self, not what we look like, not what we have accumulated, not how we are identified on a superficial level. The self that we are putting our attention on is our formless self, our spirit, that self which has been with us since we were infants, which remains true and unchanged and pure and eternal. So when we close our eyes, we turn our focus away from our physical being, what we look like, how we think, our emotions, turning our attention away from all of that and focusing on our formless, pure self, which in no way can be contained or described or limited. So as we connect with that essence within ourselves, we'll say silently from our hearts, I am the pure spirit. I am the pure self. Ultimately, I am not this body. I am not this mind. These do not define me. These cannot limit me. I am the pure spirit. Keeping our attention over the top of the head if we can, always looking for that silent gap between our thoughts, making each one of our gestures and affirmations more powerful if we are in that meditative state, thoughtlessly aware. I am the pure spirit. Let's bring our right hand up to the left side of the neck. Right hand on the left side of the neck, and we'll turn our head to the right, opening up this area on the left side of our neck, where our neck meets our shoulder. This is where we are harboring that guilt, carrying that baggage of blaming ourselves, doubting ourselves, limiting ourselves, not allowing ourselves to be deserving. And so from our hearts, we'll just let go of that guilt. There's no reason to blame ourselves for the past. It won't change a thing. So we'll move on by saying with full confidence from our hearts, silently, I am not guilty for anything at all. I am not guilty. Recognizing our self-worth, recognizing that we truly deserve greatness from our hearts, we can silently say, I deserve all the greatness that life has to offer. I deserve greatness. I am not guilty for anything at all. We'll then bring our right hand up to the forehead, right hand across the forehead. Bending our head forward to rest our head into the palm of the right hand. Relaxing our shoulders, relaxing our necks. Not paying so much focus on the physical action, but focusing on the energy center. So here we're focusing on the sixth energy center at the forehead level, helping ourselves to get into the state of thoughtless awareness by forgiving. So from our hearts, we'll silently say, I forgive everyone. I completely forgive. I forgive everyone. And I forgive myself. No lip service, no empty words, with absolute conviction. Recognizing that there is no need to hold on to anger, resentment, spite. I completely forgive. I let it all go. I forgive. Then we'll take our hand up to the crown of the head, taking the center of the palm and placing it right on the crown of the head, the point that was soft in our infancy, and giving that area a gentle massage. So pressing and rotating on the fontanelle bone area, the top centermost point of the scalp. Our desire, our wanting for our inner energy to rise up and culminate is the final ingredient to make this happen. Each and every time, infusing our desire is what makes it work. And so we can say from our heart silently, I want to experience that happening. When my inner energy rises up and culminates at the crown of the head, known as self-realization. I want to experience my self-realization, or I want to deepen my experience of self-realization, focusing more on the movement of the scalp rather than paying attention to our hand or our head. But as we're massaging the top of the head, we are opening up this seventh energy center, beckoning our Kundalini energy upwards to the crown of the head, focusing on that point in between our hand and our head. We can very slowly now raise our hand up an inch or two over the top of the head, letting our focus rise with our hand, and slowly observing the space between the crown of the head and the hand. As we raise our hand and lower it very slowly, exploring that area over the crown of the head, absolutely enabling our attention to emerge outwards from our mind, from the awareness of our physical being, from our mental activity, emerging out into this open space of thoughtless awareness up and over the top of the head. And just exploring what we feel close to or farther above the top of the head. Let's keep our hand there, keep our focus there. We'll slowly lower our hand back to our lap, but maintain our focus up and over the top of the head. Our hand returns to our home position, but our focus is sustained in that big open space, this present moment, this thoughtless yet aware state over the top of the head. If at any point thoughts are coming at us, attempting to distract us, grab hold of our attention, we are easily maintaining that state of thoughtless awareness by remaining firm in our resolve not to think, not to pay attention to thought, not to respond to any mental activity which is corresponding to the past or the future, but turning our focus again and again into that silent gap between our thoughts, right here, right now, in this present moment. This is our first goal, to bring our attention into this state of thoughtless awareness. To gain the control of our power of attention and then to direct it into the now. Focusing up and over the top of the head. Let's see how strong our attention is at this point as we add in a simple exercise of balancing our left and right energy channels. Anything that we are doing while meditating should not break that state of meditation. So let's keep our attention up and over the top of the head. Keep our focus right here, right now, as we do this very simple technique. To balance our left energy channel, we're going to drop our right hand towards the ground. So our right hand is dangling down next to us. Our left palm remains open on our lap, palm open, and our right hand is just dangling down next to us. If we're sitting on the ground, we can place our right palm right on the ground, or just dangle it down. We don't need to think about this. Thinking, analyzing, understanding are wonderful activities to do before or after our meditation. Right here, right now, let's just work at staying sustained in our focus up and over the top of the head. As our left channel gets into a more balanced state, just allowing any impurities affecting our left energy channel to be released. And for the strengths inherent to our left channel to be strengthened and established within us. As we balance, we can pay attention to what we're feeling in the palm of the left hand. Can we observe this very subtle expression of energy? Is it reflecting on the palm of the left hand? What are we feeling? As our left channel gets into a more balanced state, the heaviness, the heat will subside, and we'll start to feel a lighter, cooler, more even sensation on the palm of the left hand. So just keeping our focus up and over the top of the head, letting it happen. There's nothing we need to do but just continually redirect our focus out of the mind, out of our mental activity, and into this silent space up and over the top of the head. When we balance our left and right energy channel, we can sit in this position until we feel that change has taken place. It may take a few minutes, but we should start to feel some change once that vibratory awareness is happening, once we're truly in that state of thoughtless awareness. We'll feel the light more even or cooler sensations manifest on the palm of the left hand. That's a signal that we can work on our right channel now. So we'll bring our right hand back up on the lap. Our right palm is going to stay open on our lap. And we're going to bend our left arm at the elbow. So our left arm is bent at the elbow so that the palm of the left hand is near the left ear. This is the simple position to balance our right energy channel. So all the while we're keeping our focus up and over the top of the head. There's nothing we need to think about, just allowing our inner energy to work within, remove all impurities, all aggression, all of those very reactive, dominating right-sided tendencies, mitigating all of that and establishing the optimal qualities and strengths of our right energy channel. While doing this very simple balancing technique, we can observe what we're feeling by just paying a bit of our attention into the palm of the right hand. What are we feeling in the palm of the right hand as this balancing is taking place? Keeping our focus up and over the top of the head, looking for that silence. No thought is important at this moment. Our challenge is to get past all of the distractions, all of the ways in which our awareness is fractured into focusing on thoughts, ideas, sounds, physical sensations. None of that is important at this moment. Keeping our focus up and over the top of the head. Once we are feeling those sensations on the palm of the right hand, we'll know that our right channel is getting into a more balanced state as we're observing that heat and heaviness is subsiding and we're feeling cool and more even sensations on the palm of the right hand. So let's bring our left hand, our right hand back to our lap, back to our home position, focusing on our central energy channel right at the center. From the base of the spine to the top of the head, we can actually raise our hand, cupping our hand in front of us, slowly raising our inner energy with that action, expressing our desire that our inner energy is rising up from the base of the spine to the top of the head. Once our attention is up there, a few inches over the top of the head, just as we observed before, we can observe again any sensations up and over the crown of the head and keep our focus there. A few inches over the top of the head, As we return our hand back down to the lap, our complete attention in the central channel, on or above the crown of the head, and in the palms of the hands. There is nothing else that we need to focus on. Just maintaining that focus in thoughtless awareness in this present moment, up and over the top of the head, while paying attention to any sensations we're feeling on the palms of the hands. So let's maintain that meditation for a few minutes with some music. Let's observe where our attention is at this point in our meditation by holding our hands up at the level of the heart. So palms open, fingertips open with our hands at the level of the heart. Paying attention to what we're feeling in the palms of the hands. What, if any, sensations might we be feeling at this point in our fingertips, in the centers of the palms? Do we feel more on one hand or another? What is the state of my subtle system? Observing while in this meditative, thoughtless awareness state. No thought, just observing. With our focus up and over the top of the head, just paying a bit of attention into the palms of the hands and observing what we might be feeling. Let's slowly bring our hands back down to our laps. Raise our hand up once again, right up the center until our hand reaches up and over the crown of the head. What are we feeling close to or farther above the crown of the head? Without thinking about it, just observing what is the state of my subtle system. The more that we dive deep into this meditative state, the stronger the expression of this energy is going to be. So as much as we may want to feel it, it will only get stronger when we stop forcing it, we stop only wanting it, but we truly implement that meditation, that state of thoughtless awareness, by pushing aside all thought, all mental activity. Nothing matters at this moment. Feeling comfortable, relaxed, confident, secure, grounded in this present moment, and then observing the sensations up and over the top of the head. It might be close to the head, it might be farther above. Let's keep our focus there as we slowly bring our hand back down to our lap. We'll end our meditation as we began by raising our inner energy 3 times and then giving ourselves 7 shields of protection. The more that we do this activity, the more we can allow it to be the reflection of our desire that our inner energy rise up and become established up and over the top of the head. That it become more and more effortless for us to get into that state of thoughtless awareness, that our desire is infused into this practice so that we are able to not only experience this happening, but sustain our focus in thoughtless awareness. And as we do our 7 shields of protection, focusing on our 7 energy centers within us and expressing that desire that each one of our energy centers become strengthened, become balanced, and that the work that we're doing, meditation after meditation, is cumulative, that it's building, that we are growing in a vertical spiral, rising upwards, building this incredible tree of strength, blossoming into ourselves, reconnecting, re-manifesting all of these incredible qualities which are inherent within us. We can slowly bring our meditation to an end and open our eyes. To keep this going, very simply, we just need to give it more time. And I always say quality is much more important than quantity. So even if we're only meditating for 5 minutes twice a day, those 5 minutes should be incredibly powerful, so infused with our desire that they are 5 tremendous minutes of our day or of our morning or of our evening. If we're not able to get those 5 minutes of quality meditation, we'll try to give 15 minutes or 10 minutes so that within that period of time we get 5 quality minutes. That's what our goal is, to truly create this ability within ourselves to effortlessly get into the state of thoughtless awareness and sustain it for 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening. It may take a bit of time in the beginning to enable ourselves, to remind ourselves to navigate our attention to get there. But the more that we do it, we'll find that we have that key within us. It's easy to get there, and then it's easy to sustain it. So it doesn't take that much time, but our desire is going to give us quality meditations twice a day if possible. Collectively, attending these collective online meditations or watching archived videos, just so that we can build upon our experience. And now that we're raising our inner energy, our 7 shields of protection, if it's not distracting us, keep that going. We're also building on this foundation by starting to pay attention to what we're feeling in our hands and in the tops of our heads, over the tops of our heads. If it becomes too complicated, we're going to go right back to the basics and just work on getting into the state of meditation with no thought. But if we're there, we want to spend more time getting effortlessly able to remain in meditation and also pay attention to what's happening in our subtle system. What are we feeling in our hands? We'll be getting in these next 2 weeks a little bit into what we can do when we're starting to pay attention, when we're developing this vibratory awareness. What can we then do with that? For those of us that are just beginning, keep it basic, just establish that state of thoughtless awareness, and then add on these additional things once you've got that foundation established. So that being said, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, and so looking forward to continuing in this journey together over these next few weeks. Thanks for joining us.